crafty friends, I'm Adrienne Bozzi of Alice Scraps Wonderland, and welcome to part 2 of my craft room tour. Let's get right into it.
All right, and now probably the part that you've all been waiting for since you got a glimpse of it in my intro is my scrapbox workbox. They call them a Dreambox now, but this is one of the older ones. And this whole thing does close up and it comes out to here. It's like a big armoire, but honestly, I'm always in here crafting, and so this thing never gets closed anymore. But if we have company over, I'll clean up and put things away. So we'll start on this end and we'll work our way back. All right, so on this swing door, and these do, like I said, close, and I will show you one of my corners of shame behind. Guys, everyone has little parts in their craft room they don't care for anyone to see. This is paper scraps, die cuts that I haven't used, hot glue gun, Sizzix heat tool are in here. And then this is like a little thing from IKEA that just stores some extra things. But on the nice side of this swing door, it was originally the Velcro is what they had on here, and I ripped it all off. I glued a piece of sheet metal onto the door, and then I covered it with vinyl wallpaper. And so now it's magnetic. These little jars that I have, you know, brads, eyelets, and all kinds of things are the scrapbook.com small storage jars. And I just attached magnets to the back of them, and now they're magnetic. And then I also have some of my magnets for my glass craft mat up here when not in use. And then of course I do like hang a bunch of projects. My niece made this one. It's super cute. We did watercolors together, and then I cut out the flowers for her. This was a prototype of my SBC Fest tags. And then this tag here I made during a live on the Prima Facebook page for the release of In Full Bloom. And then just other various projects I made. I did this one recently for Sizzix. I'm also on their design team, which is why you'll see so many of their things. Down in the bottom here, I just have a whole bunch of user manuals for all of my different die cut machines and other things, my glimmer, all of that good stuff. And then up on top of this swing door here, which would also swing into close, I have more of the scrapbook.com. I'll put it on the desk here for you, Kate. The scrapbook.com ink storage towers, and these are a whole bunch of finished cards I need to go through and give some things to Cards for Kindness. It's a really great initiative, so I'll have a link for that in the description box as well. So I've got 2 of those. Then I've got these storage baskets here, and you've probably, you've seen a couple of these already in different varying sizes. All came from Walmart, so nothing fancy. But I've got my old Prima Color Bloom sprays in here. And then I also have some of their modeling material that I have yet to use. I'm going to try that soon. And then, because I had nowhere else to put it, my Christmas snowflakes. I used that in a Christmas project that's on my Instagram that you can see. It's like a little gingerbread house vignette. So those go on top of my box. And then, guys, more flowers. I have a ton of flowers. And these ones are older ones. They don't necessarily have a paper collection that Prima has with them. And then I have all of my paints. So in here are the impasto paints, the metallic watercolors. I have one set of the Art Philosophy watercolors. They open up really nice. All of these bins are part of the Scrapbox workbox system. In this one, I've got all of my different kind of like Ephemera paste, there's icing paste, there's diamond and jewel paste in here, some of the rust effects and patina effects, some of the mica powders. So this is pretty much all like Prima stuff up here. There's pearls, metallic flakes, and then some of the basics, the glosses, the gessos, more of the texture pastes, the art stones, custom mix of extra paint that I have. More flowers that don't necessarily have a collection or like a whole bunch of the collection left for me to store it with. And then I'm getting down into some of my Sizzix stuff. Sizzix also has paints and mediums. They've got a dimensional paste. They have a really cool pearlescent medium. I used this on the Easter eggs that are on my YouTube channel. And of course, they're creamy matte acrylic paints. These are different from other acrylic paints, which usually have a gloss finish, and these ones are matte. And then all of their like tubes of sequins and beads, which are perfect for shaker cards or adding to your mixed media projects. Then this is more various art mediums. I have some of my distress paints back here. Some of these are like, you know, older ones I'm just trying to use up. Then I have more sprays because you can never have too many of those. And then down here, we're getting into my stamping supplies. I'm not a huge stamper, so I don't have too much. But I've got Distress Archival, some Versamark Watermark, some of the scrapbook.com metallic ink pads are back here. And I usually kind of store by color. So like these are all the neutrals. There's a white. I really like this white ink pad from scrapbook.com. Their pigment ink. That one's great. It's super juicy. And then some of the like other colors. That's a really pretty color. So just various supplies here. I've got all of my stamping blocks, a small Tim Holtz sprayer, my lawn fawn. It's very well loved. My stamp chamois, one of these scrapers. I have the other kind up here, I think somewhere. And then these lower ones here are just various collections. Like my niece had a Zufari themed birthday party, and so I bought a bunch of this Graphic 45 Wild and Free collection. So anything for that album for her birthday party is all in here. I also used it to make her invitations. And then this is just like various scraps, guys. Like this is one of my messy drawers. This is all chipboard down in here. I won't like pull it out too much, but literally just chipboard that I use for project bases, mini albums, things like that. And then just more various papers are down here. I think this is like basic gray. And then these ones are die cuts with a view. I like to use these with my niece when she comes, so that's like her drawer there. I got some various ribbons. I like to use these little mini clips to like help me when I'm gluing things or holding things. I have a few Copics, guys. Like I said, I'm not a huge stamper and colorer, so. I have some of my other bling in here, like the spellbinders, anything that comes on a backing. So I'm such a hoarder. I have the mini pearls still from Doodlebug. They don't even make these anymore. And then some enamel dots, just some various things in there. Then in this one, I just started the Spellbinders Caboodle Kit of the Month, so I'm getting the monthly wax seals. So I've got some of those in there. Then I have all of my embroidery floss in here. Then I have more. These are all the waxes from Ephemera. I have some of the old tins, mostly the tubes. I have a couple of matte ones, and then these ones, and this entire thing here are all the metallic and the opal magic ones. Then I have some of her liquid acrylics as well. These are really great for doing a watercolor technique on. You can kind of see, this is one of my custom things that I used for one of my projects, so I just kept that right in there so I would remember that. And then, of course, the herpes of the craft world, glitter. I think this is every Prima glitter set except for one. So it's really, I mean, look at that. I kind of feel like no project is really done without bling. So everything gets tools or glitter or like shiny paper or something for me. These are all of my Sizzix tools. This is the multi-tool. And this is the one that I used in my SBC Fest class. You can change out the heads. It's double-ended. So there's a couple different palette knives. There's the intricate tool. This is the effects tool. This one helps you place little dies. And there's like a scraper. This is the distressor. And there's a blade. There's an eraser. There's all kinds of really cool stuff in there. There's even a paper cutter. This is great for gift wrap. So that's my Sizzix tools. And then I've got a couple of other things of just basic tools, palette knives, really old brushes. I've got some replacement rolls for my typecast. And then in the center section here, I have almost all of my newer stuff, all of my Prima collections. But we'll start with some of these drawers. I keep all my labels in here. I like to write the SKUs and the names of my flowers and stick that on the back of the packaging if I keep the packaging. And I've got some like pens and things in here. This is mostly like, I have some electronic die cut machines, the Cricut, the Silhouette, so I keep some of those things in here as well. In this center drawer, I have a foam mat for shaping leaves and things like that. Then I also have my sealed mat, my Spellbinders quick trimmer. Apparently I have more packaging. And then my Spellbinders cutting pads that I keep in here, and some shaping tools, thing of white thread. I've just got things everywhere. It's all good, guys. Like, you know, hey, it's a craft room. It gets messy in here. And then in this one, I've got the Sizzix die tool. This helps get like little pieces out of your dies. More tools in here, just various things, extra blades for my Silhouette. If you guys are looking at digital die cut machines, I prefer Silhouette over Cricut, but that's just me. So a lot of people like Cricut. All of these here, and you can see that I will label what's in here. Like this is the Prima, it has Georgia Blue, Rose Quartz, Salvage District, Zella Teal. So these are all really old collections. And these are 12 by 12 totes, and they hold all of the papers. And so you can see I've just literally, like if there's only a couple of flowers from that collection, sometimes I store them in there with the older things. So these are, you know, these are just older collections. Like we just did something on the Prima blog, something old, something new. So it's nice to have some of those old things around. This here is like Paige Evans and other. So you can kind of see just how I like to store things by collection. So I'll keep my ephemera in packaging. If my packaging starts to deteriorate, I'll show you what I do with that. But like I just have some really old things in here just in case I need them. Sometimes I get rid of stuff. Tim Holtz, more Prima, like literally more Prima. Midnight Garden, I just use that collection. Plant Department, Watercolor Floral. Then I also have some Tim Holtz stickers and papers, the backgrounds. I also keep these because these are great to use sometimes on projects. I haven't used any of his stuff in a while though. Up here in the center, I have my cutting pads for my switches, which are down here below. We'll look at those in a second. This is the Sizzix multimedia mat unrolls. It's got places to mix paints and all kinds of things. My yucky water jar, but hey, it works. And then my Sizzix sealed wax melting kit are all up there. And then in this little box behind is some stuff for my Heidi Swap mink. Down here I keep more magic mats for all of my, I've got this one, I've got a brand new one here still. I have Cricut and Silhouette mats, a little self-healing mat. And then these, I'll also show this one because it's one of the clear ones, are all scrapbook.com's 13 by 13 pockets, envelopes, storage envelopes. And so I keep, like this one has a velvet cardstock in it. That's one of the clear ones. And then I keep all of my Sizzix cardstock scraps in here. And I've kept the little thing just so I know, like this is the opulent silver and the opulent gold in here. And so this is really handy. I always go to this first to look for my colors. I've got another one of these little things here just to help keep these tools standing up. You can see I've got quite a few. I got a lot of the Clearly Amazing mats. I've got a ruler that just fell down. I have the Tim Holtz, the coveted Tim Holtz stamp platform. I have one of those. I've got Rose Quartz Misty in there, and I have both the regular and the Cherry Blossom Sizzix stamp and stencil tool. And if you guys have seen stuff from Creativation, Creative World at Frankfurt, there's a new accessory coming out for this that you guys don't want to miss. And of course, I think this is the best scoring board and trimmer tool on the market. And apparently so does everyone else because it's award-winning. So I keep that here as well. And then below I have my Cherry Blossom Big Shot switch and my regular white one. It's really handy to use both of them when I'm cranking out a lot of die cuts. I've got my scrapbook.com self-healing project mat. This is the black one here, and my Tim Holtz glass craft mat, just so that I don't make a mess on my table. Here's where I keep all of my latest Sizzix stuff that I know I need to work on for projects. Some of these I've already used, but we're getting some new stuff soon, so I'll switch that out. This is also the latest stuff that I've gotten from Spellbinders. I'm one of their affiliates as well. And I have the latest club kit in here, as well as their newest Heartfelt collection. And I just bought the Better Press, so that's somewhere else in my craft room, but I have the ink there. And then more, this is all Prima stuff. So here, like this is the new In Full Bloom collection. And you can just kind of see, I just dig around through here. I store the paper pads on the bottom and all the ephemera and things like that on top. But let me show you one in particular. This is another way that I like to store my ephemera if the packaging has gone bad. These are more of the scrapbook.com envelopes, and so they're just tucked away in there. This is one of the slimline ones. Any shape will work, and so if the packaging is like all ripped and the stuff is falling out, I'll use one of those. But like I said, I keep everything by collection just because that's how I work. We usually, promote one collection. We work on different collections at a time. So I store everything by collection. And then up here, I just have a basket with some of my Tim Holtz Christmas stuff and some things that I can alter for projects later. Then in here, I have different surfaces from Tim Holtz. Like I have some of his vignette boxes. I even have sticks that I've collected that are really cool. Those are fun to use on projects. And then I have re-inkers for all my distress ink up here. Some of my embossing powders. Hello! More embossing powders. The Tim Holtz Distress embossing powders. His glitters. And then all of that, all the way down to the bottom, are all various trims and ribbons. And then at the very bottom are more of my glimmer rolls. I had to put them in two separate places. I have so many of them. We'll start from the bottom and go up here. These are all of my thickers. I've got a lot. I don't use them too often, but they're great for my niece. And more trims and ribbons. Ooh, some of my bins are a little dusty. This is like Tim Holtz ephemera and things like that. I think that's pretty much all Tim Holtz ephemera, and some various little things like tassels and stuff that I can use for mini albums. On the side are like brads and stickers, chipboards from various other companies. And then these two up here are all Prima. So these are like Finnebair's metal flowers, some of the old resins, the craft tape. These are all more metal things from Prima. I just got these. These are old. They're hat pins, but there's some Tim Holtz ideology in here as well. So these bins here are a bunch of my most used stuff. But in here I've got sticker books. I have acetate sheets, some rub-ons. I have a little bit of baby powder to take the sticky off of the back of stickers and stuff when I need to, and tons of mint tape and another extra best ever tape. This is some scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive as well. So a bunch of things mixed in there. I love foam adhesive, so I have more of it. And then I also have scrapbook.com's Solar White ultra thick and regular cardstock in there as well. This one here has some older things in it as well. And I'm going to pull something out here. Oh, let's see. This is Glitz Design. This company no longer exists, but Laura, if you're watching this, this one's for you. I still have a bunch of that stuff. I loved that. I wish that company was still around. Spellbinders, black paper, and then just a ton of the Tim Holtz craft paper. I just keep all of it in there. It's kind of a hot mess. And his metallic papers back here, along with some of like the glitter mica flakes and all of my little findings and things like that. I have 2 things of Tim Holtz. I love Halloween. All of his Halloween stuff. 3. I have 3 things of Tim Holtz Halloween stuff. Maybe a little Christmas in there too. Christmas trees, and then that's it for this. We talked about those already. Then on this final swing door, all of my Prima metallic Opal Magic paints. I have my Tim Holtz scissors here, my Sizzix How to Make a Sandwich, in case I need to refer to that. Various pens, glitter brush markers, tools, and things like that are here. Then I have pops of color here that didn't fit on my other tiered tray, and the fun colorful foils for my glimmer. And then I have a bunch of magnetic tins down there that hold just little bits and bobs, buttons and things like that. So underneath the table of my workbox here, there's even more storage. I have a box of ribbons, a little box of like stuff for my sewing machine. I have a Cricut light pad, some Cricut heat press tools. I have my mink, and it's covered up by a little towel here just so it doesn't get dust on it. Decal trimmer, and then these are all baskets of flowers from Prima, like Lost in Wonderland, French Blue is in here, Mail, Halloween ones, Postcards from Paradise, the plant department. So I just have tons of baskets of flowers. So this is my last IKEA unit, another Kallax shelf. And I've got my TV up here. It's a smart TV, so I can watch YouTube on it. I've got some of my finished projects, and my electric die cut machines are stacked back here, so you can kind of see a little peek of them. I don't grab for them quite as often, but they're there in case I need them. And then this here is all of my Sizzix cardstock, the uncut pieces. And then more dies. These are like all of my florals. They're at level because I reach for these the most. Basic shapes like nested shapes, tags, things like that are all in there. And then I also have the mixed media pads are back here, the black and the white from scrapbook.com. Everyday sentiments for stamps are stored in here, so you can see there's more of those. I keep track of all of my projects that I do in one of these little books from scrapbook.com, and I just write down everything that I've used for every project. That way when I go to upload it after I've taken pictures, I have all that information there. So if you're looking to get on a design team, these are the kinds of things that you'll need to do because they want you to keep track of what you use so that you can share it when you share your project. This one here, these are really long units. When I pour resin, I pour a lot because, you know, it's a pain in the butt sometimes. And so I keep all of my resin molds and I store them by mold in little different Ziploc baggies. A lot of these are things that, you know, I get in the mail with, like these come from scrapbook.com. And so I've separated them out into little baggies by mold. So these are like all my Ephemera ones. These are the Prima collection ones. And these are Prima redesign molds back here. And so this is another storage option from scrapbook.com, this bin. And it's really great. It's got dividers, and I've just stuffed this full. So whenever I pour resin, I pre-pour a bunch of different things. This other one here holds various smaller pieces to do mixed media on, some smaller canvases and jars and things like that. And then I just got some more resin pieces. These are the zip bags from scrapbook.com. And so like these ones I tried out. A casting powder. I'm not sure I like it as much, but anyway, so I've got some of those in there. I've got like Prima watercolor paper back there, and then let's see if I can pull this out. One of the Ephemera teapots to do a project on. So I just kind of hang on to some of those things until I'm ready to use them. All right, so in this here I have sisal fibers, memory hardware albums, fabric, just various little things for projects. And I've got another one of these smaller sized scrapbook.com spiral albums. They're just really great, or notebooks. They're really great for keeping notes and things like that. With this cubby, I want all the craft supplies felt board because clearly I do. If you've made it this far in the video, great for you. But I also have behind it, I have another one of these scrapbook.com organizers where I keep all of my silicone molds from Ephemera, redesign with Prima. So this is the perfect size for these. And then I keep all of the SKUs on here just as easy reference for me. Then these stamps are all of my alpha stamps. And here, what do I have in this? Oh, I have mink foil in here. I haven't been in this one in a while, clearly. And apparently I also have some old Prima watercolor pencils hidden away in here. So I've got lots of different supplies. I've got another album that I'm working on in here. More of the A2 size scrapbook.com cardstock, again, stored in another one of those ink tiered storage tower things. I've got all of my 6x8 stencils stored in here, again in the 6x8 pocket pages. And so I've got like scrapbook.com, the Crafters Workshop are all in here. Another little notebook. This is my Platinum 6, and I've also got additional cutting pads and plates and system here, and the butter press I have tucked away in here. In these tubs here are all of my dies, and I'm working on getting everything into envelopes. So I've already like inventoried all of these. I haven't inventoried these ones up here yet, so that's why they're kind of a hot mess. But a lot of these are scrapbook.com dies, and these totes came from IKEA. I can't remember what they're called. I'll have to put that in the description box below. And then in the second one, I have all of my Sizzix dies in here that I've already used, like from previous releases. They're festive patterned paper pad, which is really pretty. And all of my shrink plastic and like the stencil material, I think, is somewhere in here. And another magic mat and texture rolls are down in here. These are really cool. They're super thick. They can be embossed, painted. They won't rip. They stand up to anything. I have another one of these little bins in here with the shaker domes and things like that from Sizzix, along with the coordinating dies are back in here somewhere. So that's what's all in that. I have more of the Prima molds in here. These are like all the collections. Some of the bigger collection ones, like Lost in Wonderland, had bigger molds this time, so that was really cool. And another album that I'm working on. These are some of my chipboard pieces. Some of my larger Renee Bouquet. She does the really pretty printed chipboard, and she also does the plain. And then I have like some other brands tucked away in here as well. This here is some more flowers. This is for a project for my sister that I'm hanging on to these specifically for that project, so they're tucked away in there. And all of my Bigs dies, and then additional cutting pads. Then below, just some odds and ends. I have my old Vagabond down there. In case I ever do like a crafting party, I'll have plenty of die cut machines for people to use. And just like some other various little things, some other projects. This little basket here is full of newer things that I need to inventory and put away and find a place for. So that's what this basket is for. And then I've just got a couple extra trimming boards, some extra long cutting pads and things like that just tucked away back here. So a couple last things. I have a double trash can for recycling and trash that I got from Amazon. And then everything here, I use natural light to take photos of all my projects. So I have my replica studio with all my replica surfaces. And my photography cart is what I refer to this cart over here. Then behind are all of my various replica surfaces. These are the surfaces that you see all of my pictures on. And so these are just stored in their foam sleeves. And then I can change them out. All right, and that's the tour of my little craft room, my craft loft. And if you guys have any questions about anything in particular, about any of my storage solutions, make sure to drop it in the comments below and I'll try and answer everything. If you're interested in like a video on more about my lights and cameras and things like that I do for video and photography, or like if you want to learn more about how I set up and style my photos, if you want like a styling tutorial, let me know in the comments, and if there's enough interest in that, then I'll consider doing a video for that. Yeah, so if there are any other questions that you guys have about my craft room, make sure to let me know in the comments below or reach out to me on my Instagram. And until next time, happy crafting.